Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome.
Oh,
I'm so
so
glad
pumped
y'all
to
are
be
here.
here.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for
You were
having
making
us.
me nervous.
I
Wait until that
know.
last second.
I'm so sorry. I came in right when you guys went away, but I'm here now.
That's all that matters.
Yes,
You were
you were
here
on time.
technically on time.
It
I was
would've
trying to
been
find my
cool without
headphones. I was
Ashley.
prompted to use headphones, so
Hi,
That worked.
Andrea. We need to have her on here.
yes. Let's get
Yeah.
her in.
Very good.
Andrea, you want to jump on right now? Let us know. We can make it happen.
We
Hi,
can make it happen.
Lexi
Hello.
and Jason.
Aw.
Love Jason. Do y'all know Jason Ushry?
No.
He is the creator of Santa Maybe podcast,
Oh.
which
Santa may be a
is
criminal. Yeah,
oh yes, Santa Maybe a criminal.
a criminal.
It is a satire, untrue crime podcast.
Okay.
We are Santa's favorite podcast.
Oh, even better.
Their
Yeah.
favorite, well, his favorite
Oh.
podcast
Oh.
people that he listens to. So
Yeah.
we were on his show a couple of months ago. Couple of months? Has it been that long? Maybe a month and a month ago. It's so cute. It is the most adorable little, and he's so witty.
He's
The
so
podcast
good.
is hilarious.
Yeah,
You need
Andrea's out
something light.
for an evening walk, but she'll come on in the future.
Yes, definitely.
And Dana's here.
Yes.
Yes.
We're excited to finally meet her in person in
Yes.
less than a week.
Can you believe it? This time next week.
Next week. Yes.
This time next week, we will be at dinner together.
We
Can you believe it?
will. That's so
It's
cool.
about my bedtime. We're gonna be eating dinner.
Yes.
Gosh, if Melissa wasn't getting there so late.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't even know what time I leave. I have to check all that, but
It's fine. As long as you know the day before, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. No. big
well,
deal.
I gotta kind of know so that the babysitter comes here.
Hi, Mackenzie.
Oh, Mackenzie.
All right. So y'all introduce yourselves now that we got a few
Yes,
people
who
here.
Are you? Where are you
yeah.
from?
Yeah, I'm Ashley. I'm head of community with Uncovered. And with me tonight is Rachel.
Yes, I'm Rachel, head of case research and data at Uncovered.
So what's uncovered?
So Uncovered is where we're bringing together all the information on all of the more than 250,000 unsolved cases of the murdered and missing into one spot, where we're overlaying all publicly available information. So any podcast, documentary, news article, public record that is available on a case, overlaid with a map, a detailed timeline, and a victim first profile. So people can come in, read more about cases, and crowdsource the gaps in the investigations that are currently unsolved.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost as if you've practiced that speech before.
I feel like I've given that to you guys a few times at least, right?
just a few.
It
But I
pumps
love
me
it.
up every single time I hear it, though. I'm like, yes, let's get some stuff done.
Right?
She is
I do
so
love it.
good at that. I feel like every time I have to do that instead of her, it's all just jumbled words. Ashley has it down so good at this point.
Oh, guys, thank you so much.
Melissa and I have the same problem. It's when people are like, "So what's your podcast about?" We both look at each other with like deer in the headlights, like, stuff.
Yeah. You're like, tell us what you
Yeah.
like, and we'll tell you if that's our podcast.
Yeah, I just take 1,000 more words to get there, whereas Ashley is nice and succinct.
I love it. So
Awesome.
they will be at Uncovered with us. Y'all are going to be in the exhibition section
Yes, at
of the
CrimeCon.
hall,
At CrimeCon.
which, from what I'm understanding, we're all going to be in the same room, which I am stoked about because in
Yes.
Austin we were on separate floors,
Oh,
so there was
okay.
a lot of traveling back and forth to see our people.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't want that. We don't need to get our steps in. We
Yeah.
want to be all in the
Yeah,
same
no
space.
need to get
No.
that.
We're
We
gonna get
are
enough
pumped.
steps in being in Vegas because you
for
walk
sure,
everywhere.
right? It's what 2,700 miles between like every hotel room and
Yes, yes, something along those lines.
Yeah,
I'm
it's gonna be
super
such a good
stoked
time.
though.
yeah. It's so good to see you guys face to face, like in person. I mean, we've
know.
only met up once.
We've only met in person once,
Yes,
Yes.
but we're
but we've
not-
met up virtually millions of times. it feels
yeah,
like.
at least.
Yes.
But it's the best.
Quite a few, but it's
So yes,
awesome.
I can't wait to see you guys in person. I can't wait to see everybody else who we're always on Zoom calls with or in inboxes. So it'll be so great to connect, to share more about what we're doing, learn about what other people are doing, and spend some quality time with people.
And while we're there on Friday, if you are going to CrimeCon, we recommend you come to happy hour with us.
Yes.
It'll be somewhere nearby. We're not quite sure which
Yeah,
part yet.
Lex is on the case. She's scoping a spot out. So her and Andrea will go and grab something. And then,
Okay.
We can all meet up, grab a drink, kind of wind down the first night.
Yeah.
We have quite a few people from our community who are coming. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
And I know that they are pumped to meet you ladies too. So it'll be
good.
wonderful to catch up.
Awesome.
Is Jim going to be there? Because I would like to hang out with him again.
He is coming. He's coming Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, he will be there.
Nice,
Awesome.
nice.
Super excited.
Jason, are you going to be in CrimeCon? I don't think we've chatted about this yet, or I forgot.
Yeah, I think
Oh, he
Jason's
is?
going to be there.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure.
Awesome.
So you'll be able to meet him. He's such a. We met him when
such a
we
good
went
guy.
to the Savannah True Crime Festival.
Expo. You almost had it. You were almost there.
Almost, yes.
I like that Jason is just answering all your questions for you.
I know he's a sweetie.
That's all right. All you need to do is hang out. It's so much fun.
Come hang out with us, please. We'll have snacks.
I was going to say, we heard about
and
the
all the
snack
things.
plan the other day, so I'm sad I'm missing that.
Yeah. We will also be playing a game with Crawl Space during Podcast Row.
Love it.
We don't know the logistics of it yet because we're
we're
leaving that up to Tim and Lance. But
we talked about 2 different games. One was they were going to get a whole bunch of wines. We're going to try them and see if we can tell what is what. Like, is it a Merlot? Is it a... That's one. We might have to do that towards the end of the day.
I feel like I've seen that episode of Bob's Burgers, and it's always a spit bucket. It's never the actual wine that you think you're drinking.
Oh my God, they would do that.
They would do that to us.
So if they're listening, I'm sorry, guys. I gave it away.
They would do it to us. I feel that
other game is, which we did it when we were on their live, was he shouts out a letter and we have to come up with our name.
Oh, I heard them do that.
I remember that. You guys were really good at that.
Funny.
Though.
I'm going to print us off a list of wines alphabetically so that we are prepared. I need to start, I guess, making flashcards and remembering.
I need to start, memorizing some, because I had to Google some when he got
synonyms.
To key.
Yeah. Some synonyms of crimes. He was always throwing out the hard letters.
He was.
No one knows a good Z wine. But then I came up with Zinfandel. I know, but we couldn't think of it the night of.
Yeah, we are good at this.
It's easier than you think. Really, it is.
Not after we've tested the wines and then we've got to do it.
That's how they get you.
True.
Yeah. So what are y'all working on right now? What's the biggest thing y'all just recently launched? Or came in contact with?
We have 35,000 cases on the website now.
Ooh.
Wait, how many?
35,000. Well, probably more than that.
Yeah, closer to 37, actually.
Yes.
Can you believe
Holy moly.
That's amazing. Do you remember when there was like 100?
Oh,
yes.
I remember when there was.
And I was like, hey, you guys should really look at what we're doing. Because that was a year ago. Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah.
We
guys are kicking butt.
Yeah, we were preparing for a community show and tell the other day, and it blew my mind because a year ago at this time, we were just trying to get 100 cases up on our website for our crowdfund. And this quarter alone, the first quarter of 2022, we put up 89 cases. So we are killing it. That's a bad, no pun intended. But
it happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
You are kicking butt.
That's
it is our
awesome.
go-to resource.
Oh,
we tell everybody about it.
We do.
Gosh.
We really do.
We've got some amazing community members who are contributing all the time, which is phenomenal. So we've got a lot of family advocates and family members as well, bringing in cases. But bringing all of that information in one spot. I think as we currently stand, we're the largest of all missing and murdered in one location. Mm-hmm. And that is just a tiny fraction of what is out there because we know that there are so many. So it's growing all the time. But yeah, I think that's the biggest. We did a really good show and tell earlier this week with some really awesome community members, and data was what we focused on. A lot of data projects that Rachel's been working on with community members.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So I'm a
Love
member.
it.
Well, Melissa and I are a member of the community, and we love it. I need
We
to be
do.
more active in there. I always forget to
Yes,
respond.
me
I go
too.
in there and like read everything, but I always forget to respond to things.
I do
I have
that.
I have a one-track mind sometimes. If I don't write it down to do it, it's not going to happen. So I have to write me a note to respond to things. It's fine.
Totally
You
fine.
just got to write a response to the response.
Yeah, that's me. So I love it. Go hang out there. There's so much amazing information.
So much information. I absolutely love it.
And it's very simplified. It's
It
very
is.
simplified because when you start in this genre and in this space, there's so much information that's out there. It gets overwhelming, or you're reading the same 5 things over and over and over to get to the next thing, and it's just so hard to dig. But at Uncovered, you can see it very easy, very clearly, timelines, pictures, locations. I love it all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think we all think back to when we were, binging on podcasts and we would hear an episode and we were Googling to see, like, I need to know who this person looks like or all of this stuff. And so now, for people like us, you can come to our website while listening to your podcast and see what people look like, see the map and other things, and, read out everything that's out there.
And contribute. So we know that there's tons of information out there and new stuff comes out all the time. And even for older cases, new stuff pops up in different places that you wouldn't think. So we make it very easy for you to contribute a source if we've missed something, because again, this is a crowdsourcing community effort. Any details in the timeline, any other information on a specific case, but also if you have a case that you want to submit that you don't see that we currently have. And as we're pulling stuff from public databases that exist, Rachel has FOIA'd every single state to get access to all of their unsolved cases. So that is a process, but she has filed one in every state. So we're working through that. But all this information just exists. It's just in so many different places and it's not in one spot. So that in itself is a journey of pulling all of that in, but being able to organize it in a way that people can consume it better, but really consume it and move from just consumption, but to advocacy. And that in lies, as you pointed out, Whitney, how easy it is to read and interact with the content and learn more. We make it very clear, here's how you can help. Here's a GoFundMe you can support for a family. Here's a photo that, can you identify this person? Here's a poster to share, or here's how you could submit tips and information to law enforcement. So we don't want you just to come and read. If you do, fine, because we want you to read accurate information, but we want you to come and interact. We want you to provide input, contribute, be able to build this database of information so we can start to solve stuff.
You also provide resources, though, because it's not just, hey, come contribute. It's how can you contribute adequately and carefully. So you teach people to become citizen detectives. You teach them how to pull FOIA requests. You work with Dana a lot, and Dana's amazing. And you have no idea how excited I am to meet Dana. And there's so many classes that essentially you guys offer and tools and resources that you work with different universities. You work Purdue most commonly, correct?
That is an ongoing OG relationship, but we have partnerships with Arizona State. Rachel is working on a few more right now that we hope to unveil next semester, but that is an ongoing opportunity to work with forensic students, journalism students, really getting students as they're in the prime of their career before they go out and become professionals, to really instill digital literacy, the idea of community policing and working together, and the notion of collective impact and how important that is, especially in this space. But yeah, resources are crucial. We have so many people in our community who have really amazing skills. And we always say, no one knows everything, but everyone knows something. So to be able to have opportunities for knowledge transfer is really huge. So we have amazing people in our community who specialize in open source intelligence and OSINT and finding stuff on the internet that no one else could find. They are sharing that information all the time, showing people how to do that. Or if someone is stuck on a case and they need a piece of information, they can call upon this person of, hey, can you help me find this info? Teaching webinars all the time. So Rachel's getting ready to kick off some really cool 20-minute skills opportunity of how to build like a digital case file. So how do you find photos? Where do you find photos? How do you identify great sources? How do you build a timeline? These are all things that we're interested in before we came to Build Uncovered. And we know there are tons of people just like us that are out there. So we want to do this together, and we want to do it the right way, in the thoughtful way, and identifying ways to be able to do that.
I had the opportunity to help build out a case with Rachel and her team and Lexi, who's in the chat. And it was on the Austin Yogurt Shop murders, which is local to me now that I live here in Austin. And they have gotten this down to a T. I mean, their spreadsheets are like nothing I've ever seen before in my life. And it's a step-by-step process of, this is where you start. Okay, now let's condense it. Okay, let's verify that. Okay, let's condense it. It's amazing at how much effort has gone into building out these visualizations. That's a hard word for Whitney.
It's a big word.
But it's amazing. And I am honestly honored to have met you it was just a year ago, but it seems like so long ago.
It does. It seems like forever. And I, talking about those crazy skills, and another shout out to Dana. What's really cool is someone came into our community, had a friend who was murdered in Georgia. She couldn't find any articles on her. I couldn't find anything on her, and I put it out to the community, and Dana jumped in, and Dana was actually able to find a picture of her. And her friend and I have been looking, and here Dana was able to find something. So I think it speaks to how, as a community, we can really pool our resources together and find some of these things that are hiding on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And helping families and family advocates. We have so many people who come into our community all the time who have this burden of suffered this huge trauma, and still having to keep their loved one's story in the media, having to run a website or navigate social media or any way that they're dealing with law enforcement, especially older cases that have gone years and years without being solved. So if we can take even just a tiny bit off of someone's plate to be able to do that, and take that burden and redirect it to people who have these skills, have the time, have the interest, and really want to do good, we feel like that is a huge gap to be able to fill, especially for family members and family advocates in this space.
Mm-hmm. And I shared, Dana has a podcast. I shared her link in our chat because she is a PI and her podcast is amazing. I listen to it regularly. So it's there for those of you that don't know who Dana is that we keep talking about.
Dana is phenomenal. Dana specializes in missing cases, and particularly she's interested in does, and from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So she's done some really deep dives on cases, and she works really closely with family members also. But she's an amazing researcher, a really thoughtful storyteller. So go check out True Crime PI, subscribe, listen to Dana. Mm-hmm. And Dana actually just created a resource about how to research a doe case, which you can go to our website and find that right in our resource section. Yeah. It's phenomenal. It's a really great step-by-step guide.
And that's one of the really cool things that we're actually working on in our community is through our Purdue University contact, we were put in touch with a coroner in Indiana that has a doe case that, they haven't been successful in finding any leads on, and Dana is actually leading that group. And they've been able to give him potential people to check into from the NamUs website. So they're doing comparisons, they're finding potential matches. So and it's very cool because the coroner, keeps us in the loop of what's going on, and we get to hear how things are progressing. And so I feel like she's really put some fire under everyone to really keep this investigation going and get this doe identified.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It is. We're just so proud of all of you.
Oh my gosh, we are so proud of you guys. Look, I mean, the work that you're doing and the cases that you're covering and the way that you cover the cases are so important, especially now, especially all of these conversations about how we can do better and we should be doing better, and that you guys are really leading in that space. It's just phenomenal. And we're just so lucky to come alongside you any way that we can and leverage and lift up anything that you're doing.
So for those of you that don't know, we have had this ongoing relationship with Uncovered since we became a podcast. Really, we were a podcast for 3 weeks, a whole 3 weeks when we met. when we met Ashley and she jumped into our virtual CrimeCon booth that we had no business having, but we had one. And it was the greatest experience of the beginning of our podcast. We've had so many since then.
Yeah. Yes. That was the highlight of that first month. No. It was crazy. I'm still shocked we did that in 2 weeks, but
yeah. So Ashley jumped in and said she wanted out of a conversation with us. And she's like, I'm from Uncovered. And I was like, oh, yay, Uncovered. But then I was like, what is Uncovered?
Girl, you gave me the biggest hit. I was like, someone has heard of us? So while you might have been 3 weeks on the scene, we were like, what, 5 or 6? So we're like, we got a reputation.
Listen, I'll be your hype girl all day long if you keep doing what you're doing.
yes.
And we met a couple weeks later, or the next week. I don't even remember. It was very soon after.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
Rest is, yes.
It was, connecting and sharing more about what we're doing and, introducing it to cases like, hey, here's stuff we already have researched. Can you utilize this when this is where we think there's a great opportunity. And we work with so many amazing content creators. We have done a lot of the legwork, especially as you're starting to tell stories and as people are putting together shows, that we think that this is a huge resource for content creators to come in and be like, you have a timeline already? Great. That is a first start for a script. And so many of our cases are cases that you do not hear about, the cases that didn't get proper representation in the community, in the media, or in the justice system. And this is huge for us because as we're starting to pull from these public databases to build one cohesive database, we definitely see that there are gaps. So we actually reached out from Amara from Black Girl Gone recently because we were noticing, we're not seeing a lot of Black and missing cases that we think that we would see. Mm-hmm. She is covering those. So we're able to work with her. We're able to bring those in and get those visualized. So we have cases that a lot of times don't get picked up that you would see on a regular podcast, or maybe there would be a documentary about, but they need coverage so bad. And a lot of them, just a few things. So there's photos out for cases that, why isn't this solved yet, or introducing it to people so they hear about them and talk about them.
Mm-hmm. There's been many times, especially through season 2, before y'all got this big influx of cases, that I would text Ashley and be like, I have nothing for Montana or nothing for Ohio. What do you have? And she would send me, 3 or 4. Here, go run with these. They need exposure. And that's where we pick our cases a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always check there first. My last case I just did, Taisha Sargent, you guys don't have on there yet. It's out of New York, out of Brooklyn, actually. And
how old is that case? Because I saw that y'all covered that.
2006, I believe.
Okay.
Yep, we can do that.
Yeah, we'll get that on there.
It's definitely one that, like, it could be solved. I'm like, I hate it when they're like right on the cusp. Whitney and I use that saying for literally everything in our lives. So now we laugh when we say it, but it's right there. I know it. Yeah, it was a frustrating one for me for sure, because she was so. Taisha was just so talented. She had come from a very diverse immigrant family, and she had like crazy smart. So smart. She won. It's called the, oh my gosh, Prep to Prep program. I guess it's some sort of program where neighborhoods that are, are a little bit more low income certain kids will get an opportunity to go to these elite private schools.
Like preparatory schools. Yeah.
Yes. She got this. She had to do this long program and got in it for high school. And so she started going on to school on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Wow. I graduated with honors, went to college, graduated with honors, and then dating a not so great guy. And she just got shot and killed in her apartment. And I'm just like, what? So it was so frustrating.
I was just talking about a case, Sarah Wallace in Cincinnati, same way. Leaving an abusive relationship, and she ends up dead, and apparently the guy has openly bragged at bars that he did it, and he's still not caught. So I think for all of us coming together, we work with nonprofit partners and victim advocacy services. I hope we're bringing renewed hope to people by sharing resources, spreading awareness. I was just talking to a mother this week, and we can do things like put her in touch with Season of Justice so that she can apply for a grant to get hopefully some awareness around the case of her son who was murdered 30 years ago with still no answer. So I think we're all part of a big team now.
Yeah, for sure.
Agree.
Lexi added Sarah's case into the chat if anyone wants more information on it.
Thank you, Lexi.
And yes, we do need to talk about Mary. I don't think Melissa has met Mary.
I have
What?
Mary, she's amazing. Oh my gosh.
I worked with Mary on the yogurt shop case. She is amazing. She's very supportive of us on all of our socials. Love her to death. She said, "No, we don't." Yes, we do. She's awesome.
Oh, Mary, don't you want to come on?
Yeah, come on, Mary.
I'll send you a link. Come jump on.
Mary is phenomenal. She is such a detailed researcher also, and just take any project and be like, sure. I remember the Brandon Lawson case. She was doing some phone records and some digitization on that. Like, she's just amazing. Yeah. And she takes any project in to the nth degree of detail, and she's just so wonderful.
That's
and she's
awesome.
working on so many cases. She's in every group research project I think Mary's got her finger in, because we need her. We need her special skills.
And I follow her on social media. She is an advocate all the way.
Oh,
and
100%.
Adnan, we need to give
Adnan.
a free Adnan shout out to Mary.
Yep. Every Friday she does free Adnan Fridays.
Do you? That's so nice. I always think about doing it. I'm like, I really need to get a shirt. That's awesome, Mary. Awesome.
We're talking about covering a case in Baltimore, and she's like, I'll travel to Baltimore. So she's already in for that one.
Yeah. That's awesome. We love it. We love everything. So I have a heavy question for you. Why did you start Uncovered?
Oh, wow.
If you're willing to share it, it might be like a personal story that you don't want to share on public, but
I think we know this answer, don't we, Ashley?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was, my background is community development and community building, and I'm super passionate about that. And 2020 happened, and I was in a space where I'm like, I don't enjoy what I'm doing because I don't feel like I'm giving back as much as I could be. At that same time, I got connected with Jim, who's one of our co-founders, and Anna and I actually went to college together, and we've been friends since very early. But Jim was like, hey, I have this idea for you bringing all the information on, cases together. What do you think? Anna is an amazing detailed researcher, and Anna is really big into genealogy. And she was like, I think the key to solving cold cases is timelines. But Anna is a product developer, so she's tech background. She's like, it has to be a way that people can consume that information, and it has to be a way that's easy and people can interact with it and see it in real time and be able to consume it that way. So working with them, and just this idea of how can a community be involved within that and then be able to crowdsource that information. And as a former teacher, I know people learn different ways. There's different types of learners. So an opportunity for people to come in and either read, watch, listen, any way that they can envelop within the case, but then also contribute at the same time. And that notion of maybe moving people from just consumption, but to advocacy. But it really hits home because when Anna and I first met in college, her cousin had actually gone missing, and it is still a cold case to this day in Indiana. And I distinctly remember Anna making, flyers at our dorm on the copy machine, and just what could you do? What could you do in that space? And luckily her family had means where there was someone who worked in television, so they could make sure that they got the case out there. There was an attorney in a family. So they took this horrible tragedy and turned it into Molly's Law in Indiana, which says if someone goes missing, if an adult goes missing and you suspect that it's not just ordinary, you don't have to wait the requisite time. You investigate right away. And unfortunately, that happens so often where people are like, you have to wait 24 or 72 hours. They're an adult. Adults can do that. So this was this horrible tragedy that the family actually turned into legislation, and it turned into advocacy for themselves. But unfortunately, it's still a case that there's not some distinct resolution around that. So I know Anna, she thinks about that a lot, and being able to build a platform like this where we are all consumers of that. I mean, Anna and I, right, like very early, bonded over unsolved cases, watching unsolved mysteries together, reading things. So then being able to take our professional backgrounds and put it and be able to build something that could give back in a space that we want to learn more and we want to be part of, but actually be able to change that space for good. I mean, that was truly transformational.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
amazing.
Yeah, and I know Rachel's a little different. She's got a very interesting background. Rachel is getting her PhD in forensic psychology. I don't know if you all know this.
I didn't know that.
Very much smarty pants. But Rachel, you were motivated early. Why don't you tell them what podcast really motivated you?
It was called Crimes and Cabernet, wasn't it?
It was. You traveled back in time.
It was. I don't even know if Mary knows this story. She should know it. But I, like most people in this space, my gateway drug was cereal, of course. And I listened to that and I got so pissed. Sorry for my language. But then I moved on to Rabia Chaudhry's podcast, I'm just like, I fangirl over her. I want to meet her someday. Watson's in the house. Hi, Jason. But I just got more and more angry about wrongful convictions and that whole genre. Listened a lot to Bob Ruff, of course. And so I thought, well, I need to do something. And so I started to go back and get my PhD in forensic psychology. I stalked a bunch of podcasters. I worked for the Murder Accountability Project for a little bit. And then a former boss of mine introduced me to Jim and made the comment that I'm probably introducing you to your next boss. And it happened to be true. So that's how we all connected. And then we went to stay in Chicago for CrowdSolve. And I said, yeah, I'll go with you people. I've never met you before, but we'll all stay in an Airbnb together for the weekend.
It's fine.
That's how good relationships start, right? I don't know.
Yes.
We'll meet up.
Or you get murdered. That's it. I mean, there's really the only two options.
And that was when it was February of the year of the pandemic. So we were really going for broke there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Before
that's amazing.
That
Jason Watts, I have an email to you. I need you to answer it.
Oh, you should probably text him instead.
Okay.
So now that Jason is here, honestly, I don't know that we would know him as well as we know him without you ladies. Because when we decided to venture out and actually go to these locations, y'all gave us Brandon and said, do it. And we did it. And best decision of our life was meeting Jason Watts.
It was. We love Jason.
Yeah. Yeah. What an amazing family advocate.
Yes.
I remember the first time meeting him and he was just so passionate about Brandon's case. I mean, it was very, thank you, Jason. It was very inspiring to have met him. So yeah, I think we talk about it all the time. I don't think we could be more thrilled about how this all turned out and that, LaDessa and the family have some answers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Jason.
I cannot wait for this next week. Epic. It's going to be an epic weekend.
Right?
One for the books. Oh, man. Okay. So what else do we want to talk about?
What else we got going on? Yeah.
Well, we will be releasing a conversation the first week of May around missing and murdered Indigenous people. Because May 5th is Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women's Day, and drawing attention to communities that need coverage, especially in the Indigenous community, because there's these huge data deserts where cases aren't getting counted. There's no representation. So we were fortunate enough to be able to host a conversation with Starla Thompson, who's an Indigenous educator and scholar, and she's actually an advisor for Uncovered, which is phenomenal. Kristen Welch from the Waking Women's Healing Institute out of Wisconsin. She is an advocate for sexual assault survivors, for family members of the murdered and missing, and she's on the ground doing this work in Wisconsin. And then also Marian Stutz, who is a no-body homicide detective, and she has worked on a lot of Indigenous cases in communities. So we hosted about an hour-long conversation of the background of the epidemic, causes, ways that you can be an advocate, ways that you can be an ally. So it's pretty impactful and pretty powerful. So we'll be releasing that the first week of May, along with additional resources, how people can get involved, not only during May 5th for MMIW Day, but, you know, that has to happen all the time. May 5th is just where we're able to shine a bigger light and leverage everyone's impact. But we'll have additional resources, Indigenous content creators, and then also a listing of all the cases that we currently have visualized on our site that are in Indigenous victims, so you can help with advocating for those cases. And if you have a family member or a loved one, you can submit a case and we can work to get that visualized too. So that is something right after CrimeCon that we will be releasing that.
Mhm.
So you heard it here first.
Awesome.
Excited about you heard it here
Yes.
first.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. We have focused. We've done quite a few Indigenous people's
We have.
cases lately. We've kind of been leaning more that direction on our
We
cases.
have.
Melissa just covered K. Sarah Stops Pretty Places.
But you guys have her
Yeah.
on your site. Yes, that one.
Right.
There's another one. I swear it's like every case. I swear. I just get so frustrated and heated about it because I'm like, what the heck? That one too.
Yeah.
Every single week. Every single week. I'm like, why is this still unsolved? Why?
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
I think, you know, and I can't speak well to this subject, but I will say I would encourage everybody to listen to that video because it's not a problem that's happening in the past. It's a problem that's happening now.
Mhm.
When you hear the statistics, it's just so shocking. And you know, through Starla, I've learned about man camps, which I never even had any idea that these existed, and how dangerous they are for Indigenous women. And it's just so shocking. And I think everybody needs to understand what's happening so we can do something about it. So
Agreed. It's crazy to think that this type of thing is still happening still and probably could be more prevalent now. It's nuts.
yeah, it's not a problem of the past. It's a current problem.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's amazing.
Yes.
What is something that you would like to see happen in the next 5 years with Uncovered?
Ooh.
5
I'm coming
years.
with all the heavy hitting questions.
You are.
today.
That's so long.
I am
from
prepared.
now. It's like,
That's a
come
long
on.
time. Look at all they've done in a year.
Someone asked us our 5-year goal the other day, and we're like, I don't know.
We have
Survive?
monthly goals. I feel like that's where we're at. We're getting through each month.
Yeah. 5
Well,
years is a long time. What do you think, Rach?
Oh, we are going to be a data science hub. Come on. We're going to be using blockchain and all kinds of crazy things. I have big plans for our database and all the cool things that we're going to be doing with, AI and ML and all that good stuff. So very exciting about the cool data science we have coming.
Oh, Angel.
Hi,
Oh, Angel's wonderful.
Angel.
Yeah, data all the way, because there's so much information out there that is not connected. So before 5 years, we want to be able to see all of these cases in one spot. So we can look across them, and then we can look to see how they're connected. We can look to see communities that need more resources, how we can direct those resources, how we can solve some of these cases. I mean, we're even pulling cases from public databases that exist that have already been solved or have a resolution, but it still sits out there in a public data. So it's like just clean data in order to make headway. Because as we know, DNA is wonderful. Science is fantastic, but not every case has DNA.
Yeah.
And outside of DNA, the thing that will solve a cold case, the number 2 thing, is changes in relationships. So time changes, people break up, some people pass away. So the more that we talk about these cases, the more that we connect them, the more that we understand them, so often we are heard. If you've seen something, say something. That is incredibly difficult when you have no idea what you're looking at. So we want to be able to put it in front of people. So what they have seen, they can then report on, they can fill those gaps in. They can be those advocates for those family members and for those victims. So they don't lose their voice again, and families can get answers. And no one is a statistic in this. Mm-hmm. So as we have more than 250,000 cold cases, those aren't just cases. Those are people. Those are loved ones. And remembering that is paramount through all of this.
One of the things our contact at Arizona State University told us about is an event where MEs and coroners come with books filled with does, and family members come with information about loved ones who are missing. And those family members have to go through all of those books to look for their missing person. Can you imagine how traumatizing that is? I mean, just to see one, but you're going through hundreds, right? So what if Uncovered could take the data that they have in their database, do some very cool data science stuff where you actually would turn the data into a geometric shape. So say we analyze the data and it makes it look like a U. We could also take biometric data from the coroners and the does, create a geometric shape out of that, and then overlay those two on top of one another to tell people, hey, you don't have to look through 100, just look through these 20 to see if that's your person. So those are the kinds of things that we're hoping to use, data science in our database to help it make it easier for victims to find their loved ones again.
Yeah. So we know that the data science is going to be huge for this, but we talk all the time about the human in the loop to make sure that we still have a human touch on what we're doing. So exactly what Rachel talked about is a myopic view of what Dana and her team are doing when they're working on a DOE case, where they are going through and they are pulling in and they are saying, test these 5, look at these 5 because of these specific things. So we are learning from how people do their research, how they consume a case, how they look at that. So then we can then present it into a way to people that they can actually contribute in that way. And then we can build these models that will be successful in connecting these dots that just haven't been connected yet, that we know we're sitting out there and we know need eyes on them. I mean, less than 10% of law enforcement agencies have someone dedicated to cold cases. How bananas is that? With how many cold cases that are out there? And they're the tiny towns. It's not like your big cities that have usually a unit and have availability to testing, but is also still a quagmire. But it is your small towns where we all come from some version of that. And we all know those cases that you heard about growing up that never got solved. So when we first set out to build Uncovered, we asked 500 people who consumed true crime, so who listen to podcasts, watch documentaries, what would get you to do more than just listen? What would get you to help contribute to a case, to contribute information? Number 1 was knowing the victim. So we know that is hugely important, that you have that connection. So it is a family member, it is a loved one. Number 2 was location. So I went to school here, I grew up here. This is maybe a cautionary tale, but I've always heard about this case and I can recall that because I have some semblance to it. Number 3 was just being told what to do. I want to help. I just don't know where to start. So we're building that. We're identifying and we're putting a laser focus to say, great, you live in this area. Here's a case that needs attention. Here's a picture. Can you listen to this recording and identify this? Can you confirm this birthday? Because as we're pulling this data, and Rachel can attest to this, none of it is entered in the same way. So some public databases may have birthdays, some may have hair color, some may have neither. So that's really hard when you're trying to identify a person and pulling in all the information related to that. So while we are doing all of this information science and really big long-term plans, it is all human touch right now, and we are identifying patterns in which to do that. So we always have that human in the loop because we know that is crucial, because these aren't just stories, these are people. and their loved ones. So making sure that we always have that human connection is paramount.
Wow. You motivated me again.
Well, come on down to booth E24 at CrimeCon and come see us.
I wonder how close we're gonna be.
Oh my
I
gosh.
know.
If we were
Y'all
next
are-
to each other, how amazing would that be?
I wonder
What
if they're
are
doing
we?
like exhibitors on this end and podcasts on this end. I don't know.
Oh.
Hold on.
We have our booth number.
You have a
but I
map?
don't- I
We are
don't know.
P40. I don't have it memorized. No, this is where we're shipping stuff.
Oh,
P46.
so
right.
you're probably
And-
like podcast row.
And you're
and
E.
46.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wondering if it's like exhibitors and podcast.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I guess
Mhm.
we'll find out. Well, maybe I should bring like my bullhorn and we can just
I was just
yell.
gonna say you need a megaphone.
Yes.
Or walkie talkies.
We need one of those
Ooh.
like
Or our
fancy
cell
microphones.
phone.
Yeah.
Also,
Stop being
Oh, yeah.
practical.
Technology, right? Well, I have
Bullhorns are much more fun.
That's true. That's true. Walkie talkies would be awesome.
we
I
have
admit
these
they're-
buttons. So I feel like
Oh,
like an
yes.
influencer. If I can, yeah. I don't know if you
Yes.
can see that. Hold on.
Yeah.
Nope.
There stay.
Okay.
nice.
So it says 200,000 plus cold cases aren't going to solve themselves. So
Oh,
come see us, put this on your lanyard, raise your hand that you want to contribute. You want to turn your interest in true crime into advocacy. So we have tons of these. We want people to come and see us and to get these so they can make sure that they're representing and they're out there doing that work. So some little lanyard swag. So when you come to see us, this is what you can pick up.
Love it.
we do a sticker board at CrimeCon
Love.
every year. So everyone, you're welcome to bring a sticker, put it on. We usually put all the podcasts that are there. If you aren't on Podcast Row, but you are a podcaster and you want to display your podcast, or heck, if you, I don't know, if you like to knit sweaters and you have stickers for that, come stick a sticker on our board. And we have them, and Melissa has one and I have one. And I have it in my office over here. You can't see it in the camera, but we keep it every year. We put the year on it. We save it. We love it.
Love it.
That's
Well, I have
great.
stickers too. I have 2 to choose from, so I'll be added to your board if you don't have them already.
Yay. We were actually the very last part for the scavenger hunt, the CrimeCon scavenger hunt. Their sticker was
Ooh.
on our board. It was super
Mhm.
cute. Was it on the back? I can't remember.
It
now.
was. They stuck it on the back so that it was a little bit harder to find.
Yeah.
Mm.
But we were the
Sneaky.
last stop.
I was
Awesome.
like, thank you for that free publicity for people who have to come by to see us. They probably didn't know who we were then.
No, they were just there for the QR code.
They were. But they left knowing about cults, crimes, and
Hey,
cabinets.
that is all that
They
matters.
did.
Exactly.
So I really think we should take this into consideration.
Yes. Just the people have to go around it. Can you see cans on a string?
Yeah, cans on a string
To
Oh,
talk to
yeah.
each
is
other.
Mary's suggestion.
Oh, man. Yeah, I could see that. That's so sustainable of us, too.
It would
Look
be.
at us being green.
Yeah.
I still like the bullhorn. I'm sorry. I'm stuck on that.
I actually have one, and it does the like whoop whoop sound. too.
Oh my gosh. If you hear that, come running.
That will not get annoying all weekend at all. I totally love that.
Not even at all. Not even a little
No.
bit.
Yeah.
I'll be sad to miss that.
Yeah. I'll send you lots of pics.
Yeah. You can always jump in our virtual live.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll be on the virtual podcast row as well.
Well, I think we need to relive our moment from
Oh,
a year ago.
Yes.
I love it.
Okay.
I could dig up my, yeah. Was I wearing an Indigenous t-shirt? I'm trying to remember what I was wearing. We can recreate the whole
Oh
thing.
God. Oh no. Whitney and I had clothes made. We were
We
wearing
did wearing pajamas. We thought, okay, so we didn't know what we were doing, guys.
obviously.
And we assumed that we needed some sort of theme for our booth.
Yes.
Mhm.
So we did like true crime in your pajamas, like, because who
Yeah.
doesn't like
Well,
to
you
sit
were
on the
drinking
couch?
mimosas, right?
We
Oh,
were.
Yeah.
We were drinking all kinds of
I
stuff and
remember.
eating
Well, in the
Doritos and
morning.
bean dip.
Yeah, morning where we were drinking mimosas, but it probably changed.
At some
Later
point,
on.
yeah. Later on in the evening.
But yeah, we
But-
were wearing pajamas.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was
In my
Well, I'm
bedroom.
going to expect something equally as good this year. So
Oh no pajamas this year.
No.
Now people slightly know us.
Yeah.
ah,
I'm getting a spray tan for this event so that I don't look so pasty white next
Oh my
to
gosh, you're
Melissa.
going all out. I was like, I think I might wash my hair for this, but you're like, I'm getting So I was going into like a day 3 hair, and I was like, I should probably wash my hair for this.
I did the shampoo, the dry shampoo. I was looking pretty gnarly earlier today, but
You look beautiful now.
oh, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So, what can people do to help support Uncovered? To wrap this
Well,
up.
first is come and check us out. So we know that you are all, listening to these stories, but come and learn how you can help. So uncovered.com, real easy, head right there. Check out our case map. Our case map is really cool. And our dev team has created this amazing case map. So you can drill in and see where cases are. So if it's something local to you and you didn't know, you can type it into the search. You can type in your hometown. You can type in anyone's name, or just start perusing cases that are unsolved. And if we don't have a case up there, there's a big old button that says submit case, and that goes right to Rachel's inbox. So she gets all that information. So we can get that to our research team and take that into the community and get that up there. Go and contribute to cases. So like I said before, every case has buttons to submit a source, to submit a timeline, or to flag an event if you think that something's incorrect. And we'll be building that out now, especially this quarter. This is going to be a big data collection quarter for us. So Anna's working on some really cool things. So be on the lookout in the next couple months for some updated workspace kind of things that are going to happen. And ways to really contribute some additional information on cases. But join our community. It is free to get into our community to meet the awesome people who you see in this chat right now, which is phenomenal. So we have a very active water cooler of people sharing case research information or updates on podcast or information. We have an amazing digital advocacy center that both Jolynn and Dana, who are also in this conversation, started. So it's really great resources for family members, family advocates of where to get started, how they can help. We have events all the time. So we just wrapped up a show and tell, but I did mention that we're getting ready to launch this discussion that will happen the first part of May. We also have events from Clubhouse that are in there, some National Freedom of Information Coalition. So everything you ever wanted to know about public records. We also have a knowledge base. So any of the resources you ever wanted to know about how to do research on a case. We curate those all the time, and we're adding new resources on the daily. So how to do a proper Google search to, different types of questions. If someone's putting together a lie detector test, like anything that you can think of, we're curating and pulling all of that information in. We have replays of webinars. So if you want to take part in our public records boot camp that we did last year, you could come into that. Lex just threw in here a book club. So we have our media club ongoing where we do live watches, listen to podcasts, or read books. So Lexi is going to read Paul Hull's book at the end of the month. We're announcing that. And then we have all of our case research spaces. So you could jump in with a group of people and work on a group case. You could either bring a case you want to work on and curate a group of people. We'll set you up with your own digital workspace so you can interact with people. You can do it solo. Some people just like to sit and do their own type of research. So they can either bring a case or we can give them a case. We have a huge backlog. We also have a bunch of cases curated by regions. So like we knew, it really motivates you if it's from somewhere that you recognize, but we also have community cases. So we have a huge list of missing and murdered Indigenous people cases that need to be visualized, Black and missing women. We have relationships with podcasters too. So they have done cases and they give us their case list. So we're able to go through and visualize. So that kind of gives you a leg up of like, here's the first place to start. Listen to this podcast and start curating all the resources. So something for everyone. We know some people like to roll their sleeves up and jump in and do all the things, or come and learn all the things, or just watch as other people are doing it and they can kind of suck up through osmosis. So we have all of that. And then we also just have content. If you were just, listening to a case and you wanted to know if there was a different podcast that covered it, we even have that. So please come interact with the content, contribute to the content, and help keep these cases out there. And something
you might just meet your new best friend too.
Yeah. Or you might solve a case. I think you two can really attest to that. That's what happens.
It's possible.
It is.
It is possible.
I love it.
Yes.
Well,
Yes. 1 week, and we get to see you, Ashley, and Rachel.
Ah.
Hopefully, we'll see you.
we'll FaceTime Rachel in.
Yes.
Away from a distance.
Yes.
So
It's
from
really
our
exciting.
team, I will be there. Lexi will be there. Dana will be there. Andrea was also going to be there. Dan, who is our developer, will be there, and Jim will be there. So we have a huge showing. So please come.
Anna's not coming? That makes me sad.
No, she has tickets
sorry.
to a concert, but she's like the hardest working woman in tech. So
I
she needs
get
a little
it.
bit of a rest.
I get it.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
yeah. So you'll all just have to come back to Indiana so we can see you.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
we are potentially we'll be there in August sometime.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Almost a year to the
We're
day.
working out
Were
some
you there
details.
August through September?
Yeah, you were there September last
Listen,
year, right?
big things happen on our 1-year anniversary of things.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Happened. So
We're going to be
We
there
don't
on
know.
the day we were there last time. No.
Right? We'll plant a
Just
tree. It'll be a
kind
whole
of.
big thing.
it'll be a big thing. Yep.
Yeah.
I've been really craving Ash and Elm cider
Ooh,
lately.
yeah.
Ooh, that
Yes.
fleeting youth, that raspberry.
I
Oh my god, it's so good.
still have them on like my Facebook feed, and like they came out with these amazing dishes, and I'm like, holy crap, that's so far away.
No, the restaurant though, they really like stepped up their game with the food that they have there. So y'all have
Yeah.
to come back. We'll have to go there.
Definitely.
When Ashley took us by Jim Jones's church, that was a whole deal.
yeah.
Yeah, I took you on a little
Tour.
Yeah, I mean
You liked it.
unsolved cases runs deep. So my husband, for an anniversary, this was like 5 years ago, he created a whole map. So I'm in Indianapolis, and he created a map of unsolved cases that are in Indianapolis that date back
That
to
is
like
adorable.
the early like 1800s to like. So
That's
when
like-
me and Melissa were here, I was like, we could go over to Burger Chef, we could go over here, we could go over there, and I mean, yeah. So
It's like my love language right there.
Right?
Yeah, that might be like the sweetest, like thoughtful gift ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Right.
Our
He
husbands
spent
are
a lot of
probably
time.
listening.
He is
to
an
this as
archivist.
well.
Yeah. He's like really got into like pulling all the research for them, and he presented it like a case file of like, here's where you can go, and these are unsolved cases, and people like
Jeff,
Yeah.
take notes. Jeff,
Right.
take
That is
notes.
so cute.
So if anyone is in Indy, please look me up, and I will take you on a tour, and we can maybe solve one of these cases too.
Also,
Yes.
don't sleep on Indy. I was not prepared for Indy when we got there.
It was so
I
much
really
better
thought
than
we
I
were going to get off
anticipated.
the plane and only see corn. I really thought that's what was going to happen.
I heard
Instead, it was soybeans, because you all were like, "What are this?" I was like, "Oh, that's soybeans."
I heard about this, that you needed to know what the soybeans were.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, we did. So Melissa downloaded an app just to determine crops.
Because
So-
we were so interested in it.
We've decided that when we become a network or when we need a third podcast, that we are going to do cults, crimes, and crops. And it's going to be strictly horticulture
I love it.
items.
I don't
Yeah.
know how many listeners we'll get, but it's
Oh,
fine.
there's a huge market for that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
in-
Yeah,
Well,
you
we
get that
found it
like
interesting.
farmers only, like podcast
Yeah.
money will come in and like promote.
True.
Yes. You gotta
And
get
we'll
those
only-
niche markets, girl.
Yeah, we'll only talk about, crimes that happened to their crops. So like when someone came in and committed arson on their field.
Oh, that's fair.
Or people are making crop circles with the bullets.
Yes.
and stuff.
Listen, people
Climate
love
change,
plants.
all of
People
that.
do love plants.
They do.
Yeah. So
I want you guys to cover the twin flames thing, by the way.
we could.
I don't know.
I've
if I
been
know what that
listening.
is.
I
y'all done a
that
cult
shit
lately?
is crazy.
Have we done a cult lately? Honey, let's tell you what we've got going on.
Oh, because have we not told them about?
I don't think we've told them.
What
We're starting a second podcast.
is it? Just cults?
It
So
is
it's
a
well, one cult.
specific cult.
Which cult? Because I am like huge into cults.
It is one that is still active today.
Who?
Children of God.
Children of God.
Oh.
Is that the one that
David Berg started. It's considered a sex cult with the
yes,
children.
with
Joaquin
Rose McGowan,
and
right?
River Phoenix
Yes.
and Rose McGowan. hmm
Mhm.
Yes.
Ooh.
So that's what we've been interviewing survivors of this cult for
Fine.
about 2 weeks now.
Mhm.
So it's going to be, it's called Surviving Love.
Wow.
Yes.
When does it come
pretty
out?
Intense.
There is a trailer out now. We are shooting for end of May, beginning of June release for the first episode.
Drop that in the community.
I will.
Thank
There
you.
is lots to unpack with this one. There's going to be a lot of trigger warnings. We didn't know what we were getting into until the first person told us their story, and it's a lot to unpack.
A lot.
And at one point there was 15,000 children in this cult, just children, and people are ready to talk, and we're ready to listen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if any, I mean, you guys have the hearts and the minds to be able to do that, so I can't wait to listen to that.
Oh,
Thanks,
so
Dana.
much.
It's a lot. So yeah, Surviving Love. It's on the trailer's out on all podcast platforms now, but we'll be dropping more soon.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
but it was lovely to talk to you guys tonight.
Oh my gosh, same.
Hello.
yeah.
Sorry, I will miss you at CrimeCon. My heart will be there.
Yes.
Well, if you are going to be at CrimeCon Friday, what time did we decide?
Noon.
Did we decide? No, Friday.
Oh,
Lex
I thought
threw it
what
in
time
the
it
chat.
starts.
Lex, if you can hear us, what is it? What are we doing? She threw it in here a while ago.
Yeah, she sent it's going to be at the bar at the Paris. It's like Les Central something or another.
Yeah.
And then I think we said 4 to 6 so that people could come for happy hour and then go to dinner, because most people usually have dinner plans, which if you haven't booked your dinner plans, I should highly recommend getting some reservations somewhere, because it's rough on the streets out there getting dinner plans during an NFL draft.
Oh my gosh, right. And if you don't, come see us. We got snacks. We just ordered. I got some extras for you. I got a big old thing of Costco like pretzels too. I got 2 of them. So I thought for you guys too. So yeah, we're planning
Thank
ahead.
you.
Are you taking that in your luggage?
No, it's getting shipped there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good idea.
120 mini bags of tiny pretzel.
Oh.
All right.
Snacks are important at CrimeCon.
Oh my gosh, right?
Oops,
Huge.
I didn't mean to do that. I was
It's
trying
fine.
to click on the link, and that doesn't work like that.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's
So we
where
will
we'll
be at Les Centrales, if you speak French, at the Paris. And yeah, come see us like 4 to 6-ish sometime. I don't know. We'll put it on our socials. Follow the
We'll put it
socials.
on
That's where the
socials.
information will be.
Come get the deets at our booth too, so we can walk over
Yes.
together, share.
Yeah.
But yeah, follow us.
Perfect.
We'll see you. We can't wait to see everyone in person.
I
How
know.
amazing!
It's
So
be
we're gonna
amazing.
go from URL to IRL, so we can't wait.
That's a,
Oh,
what
yes.
a good look at that.
Forbes.
That's so punny, and I love it. Well, thanks,
All right.
guys. Everyone go to
Bye.
uncovered.com.
Oh God, we love you guys. We'll see you soon.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.